Hey guys, how are you? I'm here
Hi,
with
fine.
I'm here with Louis and Gonzalo, that are two of the developers of the desktop app. They are in fact a team of four people. So how are you, Louis, Gonzalo, and the re-
Well, we're pretty good.
Yes, good.
We're just two of the four guys that would be working on this desktop application,
yeah?
and we're very eager to show a little bit what we've been working on.
Okay, amazing. So I, the format of this video is going to be that I'm going to be asking you about what you have been up to with this, and you're going to be like I'm going to like interview you first in the first part of the video, and then you will ask me questions on doubts that you might have, so that you can continue working forward, principally or mainly doubts regarding the network or whatever you need there. Okay, so I'm going to share your screen. In this case it's not my screen there. Okay, so how do we start? Where is this code first? How is it organized at the repository? Tell me that, please.
First, here on the left we have the project explorer. On the root of the SuperAlgos repository, we have a new desktop React folder in which we set up a back and front end structure for for the desktop application to work.
Okay,
Um,
one question there. The previous desktop application is still the same. You have not touched that, right?
yeah, this is exactly the same to keep like a compatibility for
Yeah, so that I can have
whoever.
a test environment for myself without the React kind of
Yes,
front end. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it will be a basic application at the moment, and I don't think it would be uh, worked on a lot more.
Okay, so you have
Um,
backend and front end and desktop
yeah,
app. That's all.
yeah. Here inside the backend, we only have a little Express server. It exposes some HTTP ports where we can go from React to source the data. These controllers have some kind of service methods that create messages and the queries to be sent in the peer-to-peer network. And that's all that this handles at the moment.
Okay. So from there also, I guess you access what we used to call the web app interface that
Yeah,
still exists.
Yes.
yeah, exactly. We are using still the same interface, but we're skipping some steps as from how it was before.
Okay, but you are updating the web app interface.
Yeah,
Okay, the code, I mean, yes. But you're keeping it compatible with my version of the desktop app, right?
yeah.
Yep.
We're trying not to break anything, and we are just like mostly solving bugs that we encounter
Okay.
at the moment.
Okay, so
So
there at the what you call the backend is an express server that connects with the web app interface. And what else that do you have there? Anything else?
Okay.
it has
It's
some
a
controllers.
yes, it's a REST application. At least it's kind of a middleware between the front end and the network.
Yeah, it kind of replaces what we used to call
The
the
HTTP
the
interface.
HTTP
Yep.
interface. Yeah, so it's a
Yeah,
replacement of the HTTP interface. Okay,
yeah. This
but
way we can have like a lot clear code in to make endpoints for the front end to interact with the network.
In the future, we can the mobile application can use this endpoint.
Yeah, we can also integrate this into more of the system and keep on replacing the HTTP interface.
okay. So Alexandru, listen to this because this guy have something maybe you can reuse. Okay.
Yeah, well, we are still using the same way to create query messages and queries that will be sent to the web app interface. We are using the message receive method that was the actual
Yes.
method that processes
Yes. The
what the
messages.
HTTP
Mm.
interface received.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. I get it. So, and the other folder, front end, what do you have?
Yeah, in the front end we have several folders. The first three are server configuration folders. Here we have like the React configuration, the uh, base HTML that we'll be working on, and the start, build, and test scripts for the React server. In this last folder, source, we have some more folders for each of the main functionalities or components or parts of the application deployed on the server. An API, which is the one that communicates with the previously mentioned Express backend. A component folder that has every and each of the React components that we'll be using. Images to store all the source images and the static images we'll be using on the server. And we have also set up a Redux for this application to be able to globally store information that would be useful to have at all moments.
So,
Um,
which kind of information you store?
well, this could be like the actual user ID or some other things that should be cached for them to be easily accessible in any part of the application. This could be like, well, the user profile of the actual user that has the name, the photo, the all the data
Okay.
essential.
So let me see if I understand. On what you call the front end is a React application that, using the React framework, generates the HTML and browser side JavaScript, whatever it does. And from there, from the Reacts, because this have like at execution time, this has like two parts: one running at Node.js and one running at the browser, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So my question is, when you access the Express server, you access it from the Node.js part or from the browser or from both?
well, the Express server is mounted on the Node.js part of the
Yes,
application,
but from where do you access that?
and we access it from the web server, like me using HTTP. We send messages between the front and back end as any normal REST application would.
Okay, but there is a communication from the browser to the Express server. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
And there is there also a communication between the React server and the Express server? Yes or no?
yeah,
So from both the server side and the browser side, there is a communication to the Express server.
yeah. The communication from the front end is managed by this service that we have here in the API folder. This handles all the calls that would be made to the backend and centralizes this behavior on the React front end.
Okay, that was my doubt. So, okay, so how do you continue?
Well, I don't know if you want to know a little bit more about this, but well, it's rather easy. We export these methods, this make a call,
Where are you
and
now?
using in
You're
the front end service layer would be the one that communicates with the Express backend.
Okay, front end service layer, part of the front end, and this is
And
something that connects to the backend. Okay,
yeah, this is it ports to all the React components, the methods to allow the communication with the backend. You can here execute like calls to the backend URL with uh,
yeah,
any method you want, and you can even have like bodies, change the headers, etc., using this fetch API.
okay, I get it. What else on this on the front end, or what else on the explanation you were giving? Tell me, tell me, please. Where are we standing right now? What is the functionality that, as of today, you already have? Working, not working, more or less working. Um, I cannot hear you anymore.
Louis,
Yes.
I have all this running, and I can show you if you want what there is there already,
Okay.
and well, match a bit with the things that we have on the backend. Um, at the moment, we have a basic UI similar to what Twitter's doing with their UI, central feed with where you can make a post or see other posts. At the moment, they are all mine because we are testing this, and you have a profile and a post section that these are also basic at the moment. In your profile, you only have a banner, a profile picture, and a username followed by all the posts you have made, and you have a separate uh, post functionality here for when you don't want any distractions while making a post.
Okay.
On your left bar, as you may have seen just now, we have a navigation menu uh, that takes you to all three of the functionalities that we have at the moment. And at the right, we have a search bar that's not actually searching anything at the moment, and suggested users from the network. This is actually sourced from the network and are actual users that at the moment have their nodes up and running.
Yeah, it's not that they have the nodes running, it's just users. They have their user profile.
Yeah.
They have a user profile created on the SuperAlgo system. Okay. Uh, what is this refresh button? Why?
This actually would be a repost button. We
Uh,
have these undergoing changes, so it's not the final implementation. We are actually going to remove the like and dislike, add a more complete reaction set. We are also working on adding a reply functionality, and this would be the repost that, well, it's all missing the tooltips at the moment. So
okay. And how are you organized? Because you are four people, right? You were
yeah,
working full time for almost a month now, and Gonzalo is
yeah,
joining you full
yeah,
time from today, and the other guys are like part time or whenever they can, right?
yeah.
How are you organized? Who is doing what? And what
I will
is
Well,
be
the roadmap?
working on backend mostly, especially on Express server. We're doing the calls to the network. Louis will be doing a mix between backend and frontend. Nika and Claudio will be doing a frontend side. That,
yeah, at the moment we are mostly focusing on the front end functionality to be um, working and nice and good looking as fast as possible. So we are like three of us working on front end, and well, I'm divided between front end and back end actually, and two on the back end. So it's a pretty balanced team.
Okay, I think it's a good idea that you put a lot of energy on the front end, so that even if the front end can go more advanced or advanced quicker, because it would be great if we could have a working, at least at prototype level, with all the features that we want to achieve, at least for the first iteration of this month, right? So what do you want to achieve for this month? Where do you want to get?
Yeah, and this month, well, for the backend side, we mostly wanted to polish everything and have it a bit more established code-wise. That would be Gonz's task
yes,
for this rest of the iteration. Uh, we are the three in the front-end team wanted to add proper reactions. Uh, those are actually seven. Um, manage
replies to
manage the replies and the reposts. And one of the goals too is being able to upload your own user picture and banner profile and expand a little bit on the information you show here on your profile.
Okay, the user bio also you need to
Yeah,
capture. Okay, and see the actual text of the post, right?
yeah, yeah. At the moment, we have some little problems, and for some reason, the text of the post is not getting it's not getting processed as it was at first. Um, some other things are mostly little improvements and well, the UI having this user list actually paginated and being able to search for a specific user at least.
So all this you wanted to have it for this month.
Yeah, what we'll be trying to. It's still a lot of things, but uh, given that we are starting to have things a bit more organized and
Okay,
a lot
so
more manpower should be feasible.
so it took you a while to set up the React stuff and convert the application that I left as an example into a React application and reuse the rest of the stuff at the backend with this Express server. Okay, but you're already connecting to the network and retrieving information. Also, the posts were working, but now you have some bug there. So you are
Yeah,
recording the post via the mechanisms that were already established and retrieving the information of the post, right? So all
yeah,
that was kind of
yep.
working.
yeah. These are actually all real posts. They have no data because there's some kind of a mix up in between there that the actual post body is not being sent through. Um, but yeah, these are actual posts that I've been creating during the last weekend. These are actual users that we retrieve from the network. You can actually follow them, and that would also send
Have you made
a
tests with from more than one user profile? So have you already made any test that you follow Gonza and he follow you and you see his post and he see your
Um,
post?
Not at the
Like,
moment. I've been uh, interacting with the events that are created in the network when you follow or unfollow someone, but uh,
Okay, you're
we are
supposed.
not showing those in the moment, at the moment, actually.
Okay. Okay, so essentially what you're saying is that for this month you are targeting your goal would be to have like a very simplified version of Twitter
Yeah,
where you can follow and unfollow people. Here I'm only seeing the functionality to follow, but uh, from the user, if I go to the user profile of somebody that I am following, I should be able to unfollow him from here, right?
yeah.
So
We also want to see if we can manage to squeeze in the navigation to other user profiles. And
you don't have the navigation right now to.
no, at the moment, no. You can only like see a list of people that you are suggested to follow.
Okay. Um, okay, so what you're trying to achieve is by the end of the month to follow and unfollow users, see all the posts in your timeline of the people who you follow,
Yeah,
and write new posts that appears both at your profile and at the timeline, and reply to posts of some other people. Okay. Also, a more complete user profile with your bio and the possibility to change your picture and your banner, uh, and the reactions that you were working on a set of reactions similar to Facebook reaction, not only like. And okay,
yeah,
so if you can achieve that, then we would have like a decentralized Twitter working at a desktop at least. Okay.
yeah.
yes.
Okay. Good. So, anything else regarding the work you have done or the plans you have?
I think it's a good idea to show how to run the desktop
Oh, yeah.
application.
Okay. Explain that. How people can test this.
Well, after you have uh, made your own fork and have all your code base here, you actually have to create your user profile, then the um, token distributions for algos workspace, and this will create your user profile.
Yeah.
Um,
And at the folder of the governance system, yes, as a
yeah, in the
plugin.
governance system.
Okay. So you
Uh,
once you have your profile, what do you have to do?
yeah, once you have your profile, you have to add your nodes for the desktop and peer-to-peer node
But show it.
in your user profile.
Show me the SuperAlgos platform where you have your profile.
Yeah, uh, give me a second for it to start up, and I can give you a complete walkthrough. Yes, new dependencies.
What is going on there?
I'm installing dependencies again because I pulled changes this morning and have not run the node setup as it wasn't necessary yet.
Okay. So describe the procedure, even if you're not showing it, because this takes a while. You create
Yeah,
a user
well,
profile and
you add your desktop application node and your peer-to-peer node, you have to install your sign-in accounts using the profile constructor
Mhm.
that you can attach to your profile. Once you have done that, a My Secrets folder will be created that you can store your secrets JSON.
Okay.
And when you already have that, uh, you actually don't need the platform anymore at the moment. You can just run the network.js that you have here on the root and the desktop React.js in that order. And this would bring up this console for the network and this other one for the React application. Here at the start, you can see that we brought up the Express interface and the React interface and also desktop client WebSocket so we can communicate in between the React frontend, Express backend, and the peer-to-peer network.
Yeah, I see that you remove the port number from there. You should put it because
Yeah,
it's a good information.
yeah, we are using hard-coded ports at the moment, so that's why we are not showing them. But well, that's part of the things that Gonza will be working in for the backend overhaul.
Okay.
This brings up well the Express server interface that you can even use it on its own. Uh, we actually tested using Postman and the React interface that well will start on the browser and bring up its own tab, the same as the platform do.
Okay. Did it finish the node setup?
No, it has an error about some dependencies.
Okay, forget about that because you're not going to be debugging this at
Yeah.
this moment.
Yeah, most likely it's because I have the desktop React and network up and running, and well, those are using the dependencies. It's trying to clean up and reinstall.
Okay, so the procedure is for people watching the video, you need a profile at Superalgos.
Yeah,
Then
you
you
need a
need
profile.
I can show you because I have it open here. Yeah, I will show it here. You need at your profile, you need to set up one peer-to-peer network node because you're going to be running one locally. If you want to run the desktop as of today, as there is no public network nodes out there. So you will need one of these guys, and you will also need, as Louis was explaining, at user apps, you will need here in the section of desktop apps, you will need one of these guys, social trading desktop app, because this, when you run with your profile constructor, linking your profile, install sign-in accounts, it will generate these nodes that have the signatures needed for becoming the identity of this application as a client of the peer-to-peer network. Okay, it's also going to generate the same for your peer-to-peer network node, and it's going to create a secrets file with the private keys of these identities of the network node and of the desktop application. Okay, so that is done only once. Once you have the profile and all this setup done once, then you will be able to run just the command that Louis was mentioning. Network.js is to start the network node. um, and desktop React is going to start what he was showing on screen. So from there, you just start the network and network React, and you will be able to see the advance of these guys. Okay, that's all, Louis.
Yeah. Once you have the user profile created and ready, and you have your secrets installed, well, you don't need to actually do that every time you bring up the applications. You just run the network and desktop React, and you are all done.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's move to the next part of this video, of this episode for the desktop app, where we are going to explore probably the components, not the ones that you have done because you understand that well, but the ones that are available for the desktop application to use, these components that are inside some library. So can you walk me through those, Louis? And we will discuss them in order. Which is the first one that you're using and where?
Yeah, well, all the superalgos libraries we're using are all in the Express server, and well, we are actually using the only web app interface directly to send and receive messages. Um, but this one
So
also
I got,
depends on some other things.
I got one question for you. How do we start the Express server?
Um, the Express server is brought up when you run the desktop React. Well, this is a script that pretty similarly as the original backend
Hmm.
uh, handles the loading of all the dependencies and starting the Express, not only the Express server, but also the React one. Um, so we have this React desktop React JS that calls desktop root React.
Okay. And
This
from
one loads the desktop dependencies and the superalgo dependencies, um, and all its other well dependencies as the environments,
okay,
JS, and
and from there it goes into desktop Express. Which is the file of the desktop Express? Is it called desktop Express or how?
it's this backend index.js that we have inside the desktop React backend source.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe you should change the name from index to probably desktop Express so that it's 100% clear.
yeah, we can rename it so it's not all and everything index. Well,
Okay, so
uh,
from the desktop Express file,
yeah, the
al-
circuits actually
also you have another index there. You say they're duplicated in your screen. That is kind of confusing for somebody that is not deeply into your code. So better if you remove the default name index for something like more specific. Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So at the and the and the Express server or the Express whatever desktop Express.
Yeah.
From there, continue from there.
Well, actually, the Desktop Express runs on its own thread. So the thing is that once we run the desktop React.js, it goes to the desktop root React. that handles all the dependencies that
Wait,
Express and React would be
wait.
using.
I am confused now. You said that script, desktop root React or desktop React,
Yeah,
launches desktop Express, right? So it launches as what? As a new Node.js process.
yeah. Well, this desktop root React handles all the dependencies, runs the new desktop app that's inside the desktop React folder. This one handles all the network and services that have to be loaded. So, for example, it sets up the peer-to-peer network client identity, the user
Yeah,
profile.
but hold on, because I'm trying to understand the structure of this, and it's still messy. Everything starts where again? Desktop root React or desktop React?
Desktop dash React.
Okay, desktop dot React. From there we go to desktop root.
We execute a new desktop root.
That is not intuitive.
Oh
Desktop
well,
desktop root is the same root that I used to have. It's
it's
it's the same file.
pretty similar, yeah, because we are loading the environment.
But
Uh,
is it a copy of the existing desktop root?
yeah, it's a copy. We have the original one right beside it, and we are only not loading up some dependencies that are needed for the
Okay,
old implementation that there was.
take me back at the first file. Which one
Yeah,
was?
desktop React.
Desktop React. So why are
We
you going to desktop? It, okay, that's the problem. Okay, so you're requiring desktop root React, but the name of the function is desktop root. You see? So that was confusing me. You understand what I
yeah
mean? Okay. So my advice, not for only for this case, but for everything, pay a lot of attention with the naming. Okay, because it's extremely important the naming of everything you do, because everybody trying to work with this needs to load into their mind all the structure. And if something doesn't match, then you cannot simply load it into my mind. That the problem that I was asking to go back again and again is because I cannot load it in my mind. Because I see that you are in desktop React and then you jump into desktop without React. So, and I kind of conflict there. Why? Okay.
yeah that's part of the um, refactor we were going to do on the back end. We have loads of things to rename and refactor.
Okay, so
um,
from desktop React, then you jump into desktop root React. That is the same sequence without the React that we used to have. So you have a copy of the desktop root into desktop React with some modifications. I'm
yeah,
okay.
the initial script, it's all the same for the old
Okay,
implementation of the desktop.
okay, let's go to desktop root React. That is the next file you have there.
Yeah, this one that should be renamed.
Yes,
uh,
go to the bottom, please.
Loads the desktop
Yeah, I know.
dependencies,
That's the same.
superalgos,
That's the same
etc.
stuff. And at the end, where do
And
you
at the
go?
end, we run the new desktop React app that we also should rename. This one is inside the desktop React folder, but it's
Okay.
still called the desktop app.
Okay, rename all this so that everything is clear.
Yeah,
And when you are in there, desktop,
we go to the new desktop app,
okay.
and this handles the user profile, peer-to-peer network client identity, the peer-to-peer network, the peers,
Okay, this is a copy
infrastructure
of
templates.
of the previous desktop app. Okay.
Yeah, this handles the setup of all the necessary infrastructure for the
Okay.
desktop to work.
Okay, and show me which things you are using from there. You are using Well, the same thing that the other guy was using, the one you
Yeah,
copy, you fork it
it's
from.
everything mostly the same. The only thing is that instead of using an HTTP server that you were using back then and using the HTTP interface and
Yeah,
all that,
you're removing the services for the web browser because that is going
yeah,
to be handled by the React application. Okay.
and we are instead bringing up the Express server and the React server.
Okay. At this point, is that you bring the React server and
Yeah,
the Express server? Okay. So show me that. Where is that?
here the Express server is this index right here that we
Yeah.
said to rename previously.
Okay. Move that file to the end of the tabs so that they are in order of execution, or whatever is the order.
That's we are,
Okay. So you will need to, that service file also doesn't say anything to me. It should have a name that if I have it there, for me it's clear what is there. Okay.
yeah,
It is the either is the React server or the React service or however you're going to call it. Okay. So show me where you this desktop React app.
and the desktop React app actually runs a start script. That's one of the files we saw previously on the front end code base. It starts with the start script, and this one uh, handles all the configuration for the Webpack dev server
Oh,
that the
okay, okay.
React is running on.
I don't need more details on that. That's React problem. Go back. Go back there. So what I want to see is how you are executing this. So as I can see, you are not creating a process, a different process for React and a different process for Express. You're just requiring those scripts and then you are running. Okay.
Yeah,
So you understand that everything runs in the same Node.js process, right?
yeah.
And that's how it's going to be? Or
No,
you're
we're going to change that to the.
why? Do you need to change it?
Well, actually, the main problem for this was made done basically for it to work, and then we could improve on it. The main problem is that you cannot actually debug the front end and back end separately without without it
Interfering each other.
interfering each other. Yeah, because the execution is shared, and well, if you
So
stop one, the other one will stop too.
so from here you will launch a process for one and the process for the other, or probably no,
Yeah,
just a process for the React because on the Express you need the objects that you already instantiated upwards, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So
So once you have that running in another process, what you're saying is that it's the advantage is that you're going to be able to debug independently.
yeah,
Okay. Okay, let's continue. The WebSockets. Wait. What is that? WebSocket interface. Why do you have a WebSockets interface there?
well, this one is old code, but it's not anything that we would need for this.
So this is part of what you need to clean because this was
Yeah,
okay. A little bit more up, please.
and well, this would be all the services. This web app interface And that's first right there is the one that we're using on the Express server to communicate with the network.
Okay.
And well, there's also the social graph that we don't utilize at the moment, and we still have to research on
Yeah.
usage and functionality for
Yeah.
it.
That's something that you don't need to worry about for now, because it's an optimization.
Yeah,
And in version 1, you're not talking about optimizing. So there I can see modules web app interface. Okay. Web app interface. And a little bit more up, please. Okay, this is related to setting up the network
yeah,
and the network components that you're going to use to connect to them. So you didn't touch anything of this, right? Just to
yeah.
correct
About
probably
the
some.
network, we didn't touch anything
Okay.
uh, for it to be able to run with the new implementation of React and Express.
Okay. So now I understand the picture. Um, Now I understand the picture. So do you want to go deeper into any of this stuff? Do you want to discuss any of these libraries that you're using for the network, or to go in more detail? It's not that I have them clear in my mind, but I can try to remember if you need some explanations.
Mm, mm, Um, well, at the moment, we are not entirely used to the peer-to-peer interfaces, and we are still trying to learn them and get used to them. So there's no much doubts that I have at the moment myself. I don't know if Gonza has anything.
Nope. At least for now, I don't have anything.
Okay, so I will explain spontaneously some of the stuff, maybe that clear some of the concept. So go up a little bit more to see where this starts. Okay, so again, to where you were set up network. I will explain some concepts so that they are clear. We have the concept of the client, of the peer-to-peer network client identity. What does this mean? What is the client identity of a peer-to-peer network? Um, in order to interact with the network, the application that you are running needs to identify itself, okay? Because the network is a public network, and somehow it has to prevent attacks, specifically spam attacks of people. Imagine if there is no control, then anybody can connect there and send message like crazy, and then the network becomes not useful for anybody, right? Do you follow me?
Yeah,
Okay, so the way we prevent that is we are saying, okay, so everybody can connect, but you have to have a valid identity. And what is a valid identity? The ones that you define at the user profile, at the governance system, when you go and create that node that is a desktop app, okay? And when you install a sign-in account below that, somehow you're creating an identity, okay, for an application. Then when you run the desktop application, what you're saying at the environments file is which identity you want to use for that particular instance of the application that is running. So if you open the environment file, open the environment file. You know where it is? At the root of the, yeah, there. So you will see that it says desktop app at the bottom. Desktop app sign-in account is social trading desktop app 1. That means that if you have declared more than one desktop app, like more than one network node or whatever, always at your environment file, you're saying which one is the one running now, right? So essentially, that allows all these libraries that are out there. You can come back to the other file. This allows to present themselves with that identity. That means that I'm going to sign the message that are going to the network with the identity or the private key, essentially, that is not the secrets file, of the identity of desktop app 1. Okay? And that is what is going on there. So this line, we are creating the module that is going to store and manage this stuff, initializing it, but at some point later, we are going to store the identity inside that module. So is that clear? Did you already knew all this or not? Gonza?
Yeah, and
It's yes.
Okay, very good. So that's the network identity. That's the concept and that's how it works. Then the next one, user profiles. User profile, that module, user profiles, probably it doesn't have the best name, I can agree, because that was the first intention, was to load all the user profiles from the plugins that are stored together with the whole code base. So it loads this in memory and it stores it in memory, organized in a certain way. But at the same time, it does a few other stuff. So, like for example, getting which is the node of the network identity that we are running. Okay, that all happens there. So this is a candidate of a module that I'm going to be refactoring by in the name because it's not only doing that stuff. So just for you to know, okay. But that is what is going on at that line there. So as you can see there, the line that says user profile initialize, and it's sending the environment variable desktop app sign-in account. Okay, the reason that is sending this is, and the reason that is sending the network identity, the network client identity, is because when that process that is loading the profile is iterating and finds that node, then it's going to store it inside here. Okay, so you need to understand at least this that is going on in this way. Okay, I continue. The network, peer-to-peer network. Okay, so if I recall what happens there when you are loading this module, peer-to-peer network, and you are initializing it as a network client, okay, this module is a representation of the peer-to-peer network, but in the sense that you will have access to certain nodes of the peer-to-peer network, okay, based on certain criteria. Tell me if you're not following me, because I need you to understand all this. So,
no, yeah,
Yes.
we're okay for now.
okay. So your desktop application is going to connect to the peer-to-peer network. My question is, if the peer-to-peer network have 1,000 nodes, to which of these 1,000 nodes it's going to connect to. Do you know?
No.
Okay. So it's going to connect to a certain number of nodes based on the amount of token power that your application have at that the network nodes have. Okay. So if you go to the governance system, you will see that token powers emanates from your user profile and start going in all directions. So you're going to assign to your network node certain token power, and you're going to assign to your desktop application certain token power. So let's say there are 1,000 nodes in the network, and there are nodes with 1 token of token power, nodes with 2 tokens, with 10 tokens, and with 100 tokens. Okay, and that's the network. These nodes are not yours; are from other people. Okay, then you open your desktop app, and your desktop app has, I don't know, 10 tokens of token power. Okay, so your desktop app will get connected to nodes that have a similar amount of token power. Okay, and the reason for this is because when the signals are distributed, they have to be distributed in order of who have more token power first and who has less token power later. So the nodes themselves in the network are going to be organized by token power. So the signal will be traveling from the ones who have more to the ones who have less. And you need to be connected to a similar amount of token power node, because that means that the signal will arrive to that node and it will be distributed to you. Okay? So it makes sense or not? Yes or no?
Yes. It makes sense.
Okay, so essentially, is your desktop application going to be connected to one node or to more than one node? Do you know that?
Well, technically, we're working with our own node, and well,
Yeah, but in general,
communicating with the.
not in your particular case. I'm asking in general. A desktop application connects to one network node or to more than one?
It connects to one, and that node handles the communication between the other ones.
Go to the environment file. You have it there already open. Okay. Look at the one line below the cursor line. It says desktop app max outgoing peers. What does that mean?
That we're going to connect at, at maximum with one node.
Yes, but if you put 10, then it will connect to 10 if there are 10, right? So that means that it's already prepared to connect to multiple network nodes so that it potentially queries different network nodes or receives information from multiple network nodes so as to be redundant on one side and not to overwhelm the same network node all the time that can probably be controlling the rate of information you are asking or sending. Okay, so return to the script. So that means that this peer-to-peer network module is the one that handles the problem of connecting to all the nodes that you configure there. And every time you're going to send a message, well, you're not going to do it directly from the React app there, but when you send a message via the web app interface, the web app interface is going to end up sending it through the peer-to-peer network, which is a representation of the network, but that you have access to based on the amount of token power description that we made, and also on the amount of nodes that you are connected to. So it's going to pick one node and it's going to send the query or the event. Okay, so that's why this exists, this module peer-to-peer network. So it's more clear now.
Yeah.
Good. So we go to the next one. Peer-to-peer network interface. Okay, peer-to-peer network interface. So what is an interface? Why are we talking about interfaces? What are we using that term for? Every time we use a concept of an interface is like the module that defines the API or the endpoints that the clients of this kind of service are going to be able to use. Okay, so if we are saying that, and pay attention to the naming, we are saying that this is the peer-to-peer network interface. So the name should tell you that this is the interface for messages or requests coming from the peer-to-peer network inwards towards the desktop app or whoever is running this. It might be the desktop app or the mobile app or whatever app, okay? So the name is telling you that this is the interface. As the other interface, the web app interface, it means that whatever is coming from the web app goes through that interface because that defines the endpoints. And then it gets into the service, whatever module can be used for whatever query or transaction is being executed. Okay, so specifically this is for incoming from the peer-to-peer network. So that is what you're setting up there, or you're getting you're creating that interface so that you have that at least initialized. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what is next? Set up the network connections. Can you move a little bit down, please?
Yeah, we are back in the services again.
Okay. So we have the web app interface. That is, as the name describes it, is the interface where all the requests coming from the web app go through and is distributed to other modules that might resolve them specifically. The social graph is something for the future. It's something that is like we are going to have like a cache of the social graph of the specific users that are running the desktop app at this moment, so as to avoid ourselves to be sending too many requests to the network if we already have that information. Okay, so but that's an optimization. It's not for now. And then the WebSockets interface is something that it shouldn't be there because you're not providing a WebSocket interface to the web app anymore. You replace that with React. Okay. And what else do you have? The React backend and the front. Well, I got lost there, but I think that's the new stuff that you were setting up.
Yeah, it's the Express interface and the React interface.
Okay, so I hope it's a little bit more clear. I don't know. Do you have questions for what we talked so far? Any questions?
Not at the
No.
moment.
No.
Okay, some other day we can go deeper into all this stuff, but probably I don't want to overwhelm you with more details. I believe that you can solve your first goal of having a basic social network with the things that are already implemented, because you can send all these requests to create a post to reply to a post, you query the timeline, you query which are available people to follow, you have implemented the event to follow and unfollow. What you will not have is implemented how to handle a profile image and the banner image, and you will not have implemented probably the bio information. So I will still encourage you to do it. Do it on the front end, even if at the back end is not yet handled. Maybe you can handle yourself, but you will start to modify these libraries to handle this stuff, which is okay. But right now that is not implemented. I know it's not okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. So what else do we have? Anything else? Do you need anything from me? That question or something that is not working or something to fix?
Um, no, not at the moment. We will focus on having on improve what we already have and try and manage the goals that we already set. Um, that they are all already functional on the network. So just would be on our side.
Okay, so very good. I like how it's going. Um, my recommendation is that you try to get as fast as possible to the user interface with all the stuff that is needed, even if at the back end some things are not there, like for example saving the images and things like this. Try to polish it as much as possible, as much as possible as the Twitter interface, except for the reactions, that would be more or less like Facebook. Put all the details, the hovering over the profiles, names. You also will need to replace the text when there are mentions. There are a huge amount of details to work on. Um, focus first if you want to achieve by the end of this month, that is, we are 10 days away, that features. Focus on these features, obviously, and try to get them all. But then there is a lot of work to do in details. If you use the desktop application of Twitter, you will see a lot of details. When people in a post mention somebody else, then that's a link that pop-ups a small window, like a tooltip, but with the profile information. So there's a lot of stuff to do, right? Okay, so those are my suggestions. Be careful with the naming. Try to keep the naming as logical as possible, so that anybody can see the file name. The file names are really very important, but also the variable names and everything. This structure that I explained of on the part of the network, these network libraries, they are the first iteration. So that might change, might evolve when we continue adding more features, but also it might evolve in just iteration, perfecting the structure. The structure is not very, it's not polished at all. It's like a messy. It's difficult to get it into your head because it's like things are not instantiated in the places they should be, maybe, or they are not stored the places they should be. So it's not easy to get it into your head. When something is not easy to load it into your head, it's because probably it's not well structured. Okay, so on your side, try to keep your things as much organized as possible so that you can build faster and build more complex stuff. That's my suggestion. Okay, guys. So
Okay.
if you don't have anything else,
No,
we
I think
can
we
meet.
are good.
we can meet again in a few days.
For the updates.
Yes, for maybe next week or whenever you want. But we can do the next episode about this, so we also update the other people about what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
most likely
perfect.
before the end of month.
Okay. Gonza, all good?
All good. Perfect.
Okay. Cheers, man. See you next time.
See you.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye. And the ones watching the video, thank you for watching. Bye.